Hey crafty people, welcome back to my channel, and in case you're new here, I'm Sarah, also known as Craft Nerd because I'm a nerd who loves to craft. I do paper crafting, card making, junk journaling, and mixed media art. Let's get crafting! Welcome to my channel. In case you're new, each month in the year 2026, I am picking a craft supply from my stash to be the focus of each month. And since we are in a new month of June, the new theme for this month is junk. Because as a junk journaler and quite frankly as a crafter, I tend to collect things that I think I can use one day that most normal people I think would throw out. Take a point. I was looking around, contemplating what I was going to do for June, and saw sitting on my desk, these are the from books that I took apart and harvested for the pages to use in crafting, and then you get these cool pieces left over, and of course I saved them, because why wouldn't I save these cool grungy things? So we are going to make some strip clusters today using our junk, and I need to go let a dog in. But because these are a little bit on the brittle side, because they're from like antique and very old books, I did cut some pieces of cardstock that are about 1 inch by I think about 7.5 inches that we can use as a base to build on. This way there's something supporting our pieces. Let me go let a dog in. I also grabbed my collection of like strip scraps from leftover offcuts from some of these are from pattern papers, some are from digitals. This is like a collage piece I did, and I'm actually kind of digging that. I think that's going to be the first one we play with. So yeah, we're just going to create some strip clusters, and that one, is that 8.5? That might be from a full page. Not quite 8.5. All right, we're going to use this, and we're going to add, I think, some of the lighter stuff, maybe. I think let's grab scissors. Cut that bottom bit off. I am going to grab bigger scissors. We're going to cut this guy in half. Actually, I think what we're going to do is chop that bit off. Save it for later. Let's see, how long is this now? That piece is a little over 8. Let's grab one of our bases. Let's glue that on. More glue to that. And we're gonna glue that on like that, and I can always cut away any of the excess left over once we're done doing this. See if we have something that can go like there. Let's check the scrappy bits I've got off to the side first, and then we'll go searching amongst other things. Liking that. But I think it needs something. Let me see. These are Tim Holtz labels. It's the vintage labels die by Tim Holtz and Sizzix, and I inked them and die cut them out. So of course I'm not going to have a green that I want. Not mad at that. Not mad at that, but I think it needs to be inked. All right. Let's shift some stuff out of the way. Grab a scrap piece of paper, a brush, and tea dye. Go ahead and glue this on, which I'm hoping is going to hold up. I think I may shift it off here where I have texture paste because it is antique book page, so it's super brittle. Not wanting to stick. And I think I may extend out my scrap, like a piece of cardstock. Let me see where I put. Here we go. I think I may glue that because this is super, super brittle, and if I leave it hanging out without anything to support it, it's probably going to break off. Grab scissors and trim that away if I can find my scissors, because my desk kind of ate them. That reinforces that. This can go on like so. Our butterfly can go on like that. I feel like it needs something more. I think what I may do is grab a random text stamp and do a little, let's do it in, let's just grab some distress photo. It's a Crafty by Tony stamp. Don't necessarily want it readable. I just want the texture of the script or the text in the background. This butterfly needs more, and I'm gonna have to go hunting down butterflies, I think. Okay, this is a My Porch Prints. It's floral butterfly fussy cuts, and I think we're just gonna add that to the butterfly to give him a little bit more oomph, and add that on like that, and I think we're gonna call this one done. Let's do that. Normally I like fluff up my wings, but I think on this one I'm just gonna glue it flat. Let's throw away the excess cream cardstock. There we go, one done. Let's grab another. I pulled this out of the pile. This was left over from, I don't even remember what the video was. But I'm thinking instead of using the cream base, we can just use it. It is, how tall is it? It's 8.5. I think I'm gonna cut off this signature at the bottom. I'll start with that and add a bit of this, although this I want to try and get off. Let's first cut it down to the size we want. There we go, there we go. Oh, almost. It's mostly because it's just too bulky. I think that's okay. All right, so we got that and that. I think I'm gonna grab something postal themed to go on here. Let's see what we got. kind of thinking he might be cool, but we need some more layers around him. I think I may push this all the way on, but because I want to preserve, we'll cut off the top and the bottom there. I feel like it needs something going here. Like that. And I think I know what I want going here. I just don't know that I have it in a fussy cut. I may have to pull out a stamp. I've grabbed a piece of vintage book page. I've grabbed Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous Correspondence CMS225, and this is what I want in red on that. All right, let me grab a block, a mouse pad. We'll scooch that stuff over. Versifying in satin red. That works. Okay, so I'm just paused to clean up and then started cutting this out and went, wait, I should restart the video. Oy. Okay, let's start gluing stuff on. We'll start with our book piece. The edges on this. Let's go with Uncharted Mariner because I've got it out on my desk. All right, we are going to put glue along here. Glue it on like so. This down like so. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, there needs to be something connecting those guys. I need something round. Something to connect them. All right, let's see what we've got. That'll work. All right, that one's done. Do need to add a little baby powder to the back because I used adhesive to stick it in that composition book, and if you just add a little powder over top, it takes away the stickiness. All right, so that one's done. Okay, so I took a bit of a break and I actually pulled some stuff together so that we can maybe speed this along a little bit. So let's shift stuff off and we'll go through these guys and get them finished up. So I've got this one. Let's grab this over. This is a piece of washi tape over a piece of book page, and I do want to shorten it. Kind of thinking, let's see how well our Fiskar stamp scissors goes through this. Not too bad. I'll save those pieces for something else. And I think we're going to stick that on to this piece and then trim off the excess, because yeah, that's now shorter. This off just because it's adding extra bulk that I don't necessarily want. And that is not sticking. Why is that not sticking? Got that piece to go there, and I pulled the mailman out. He's a Magic Memories digital. I'll link in the description box, and I think I'm gonna cut out between his legs so we don't have that white spot. Oh, I ripped him a little bit. I'm just gonna add a little glue. Definitely need to refill my art glitter glue after this video. I like that. And then this is a little stamped label I made in a video in, I think, April. I did stamped bits and bobs, and I like that. All right, let's go ahead and glue this on and hope it stays. Can go there, and this can go like that. Yeah, like that. Okay, let's glue him to this. I like that. Set that one aside. Over this one, these are some paper scraps from like my videos back in what, March we did paper. And I think I'm gonna trim a little bit off the top of that. That. Now I made them the same size, which is not exactly ideal unless I go like that, so that they aren't lining up. I feel like I kind of want to go like that, but also I'm gonna have a hard time gluing that down. Actually, if we flip it, it might work better. Okay, let's glue this on to here. I may just do that. And maybe just take that out altogether. This I like there, so let's go ahead and put this on. So, do we just do that? Or do we add a ticket? I think let's try adding some vintage photo to the ticket and see, because it's too pale. So maybe if we ink it, we'll like it better. And maybe we'll ink it and decide we don't need to use it. Who knows? Could go either way. I like it better with that. All right, let's glue this down. And this is a 49 in Market laser cut element. I bought way too many of them to go with paper pads that I bought way too many of. And I've been making a dent in the paper pads. I have not been making a dent in the laser cut elements. So I'm trying to be better about remembering to use them like that. Like that. It doesn't show up great on here. Let me grab. That's how it would look on like a page. I'll probably need to trim this little strip because it's a little on the long side, but I like that. All right, next up, this one, and I definitely want to ink this because I feel like it was Brushos to dye some paper, and I was going for red, and it's a little too pink. So we are going to grab this lumberjack plaid to make it more red. This is, I think both of these are a digital by my Porch Prints, but I'm not 100% sure on that. That excess, that was not even a little bit straight, and I knew it as I was cutting it. I'm like, you're going wonky. Did I stop? No, I kept going. All right, I want to ink edges on this one. Use some scorched timber. Was inking, I had a thought, and it's that I want to like nip the corners. Don't want this the same length, so let's trim off this bit down here at the bottom. We like that lengthwise. I'm thinking of taking that off too because it's more yellow. All right. And as I'm doing this, I'm realizing it probably is going to need reinforcing behind it. The other option would be to put it this way and have it completely on. I do not care for. I like it sticking off. I'm going to put stuff in my garbage bucket, but I moved my garbage bucket because I was using it while fussy cutting stuff on the couch. And yeah, I keep running into that problem. All right, let's ink the edges on this, which is either a Tracy Fox Love Junk Journals digital or a Morley design. I will leave links in the description box. Part of me that really wants to put a brad through there. Let me grab one. All right, so I grabbed a brad. Punch a hole, center-ish. There we go. Stick the brad through. And I am going to distress it with my little hammer. So I want to maybe do a little more distressing on this piece. Do I have handy? I do. Let's add a little faux vintage tape to it as well. Now these are the Tim Holtz Distress Sanding Discs on Scrapbook.com handle, but you could always just use pieces of sanding paper or emery boards if you don't have the Tim Holtz sanding discs. Those would work just as well. All right, that one's done. Got one more. Oh, nuts. This was supposed to go on as well. It was supposed to go underneath all of that. Oh well. Now, however, I'm sitting here thinking, well, I've got that. I've got a spare bit of this. Got another piece of that. Maybe we put together another, do the little tag. Kind of thinking I might want to do that. Maybe chop this down a little bit more. All right, we're adding in an extra one. Actually, like that too. All right, we're gonna need a focal image, and they're not over here. All right, I'm gonna set this off to the side for a second. Let's go ahead and do this last one that I have the pieces for. We shall glue this on and trim off the excess. Then I've got this bit, and I was thinking this little fairy girl on there, but I feel like I need something like that big to kind of go there, maybe. I don't know, let's start by gluing this on. Maybe another colorful strip that's really skinny to go there, and possibly like a label for her to be on. Let me have a look, see what I've got, because I got some super skinny strips. I just don't think any of them is going to be the right color. That better. All right, let's see if we can essentially chop this in half. No, because it's thinner, but if we're going to put her, say, there, I can take a pencil and mark here. Cut that. Put that there. Her there. This piece coming up like that. So it gives the impression of being a longer piece than it actually is. Ooh, I like that. All right, let's glue it on. And then see if we want to put a label behind her. I'm leaning a little bit towards that because the wings stick out and the wings are not made of a very heavy cardstock. I mean, they're moderately okay, but if I use this as a belly band, I'm a little concerned about the durability of the wings. That's cute. All right, let me go grab my book that has the stuff in it that I would want to use to decorate this, and we'll do this and then we'll be done. I pulled this guy out, which is from either the Marley Designs or Love Junk Journals kit. But my problem is these are all warm tones. This is a cool tone. So I think what we're gonna do is bring it over and vintage photo it, because I think that will warm it up just enough that it will work better. Yeah, that works better. Now we need to ink all of our edges, and I think I'm gonna use a mix of Distressed Oxide, Uncharted Mariner, and Scorched Timber. So what I'm gonna do with the Uncharted Mariner is come in kind of heavy so that I'm adding more ink to the edges. And then I'm gonna take my vintage photo and do just the very edge. Grab some foam adhesive to go on the back of here, and I'm going to put dots of glue for it. There we go. That worked out well. And I'm gonna call that one done. All right, give me a minute to clear some space and we'll take a look at everything we got done today. Okay, so we did this tag. We created these belly bands, or they could just be decorative strips on a page. And we did that one. And we did that one. And that one. And that one. And that one. So that's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please do all the things that let YouTube know you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment down below. Thanks for joining me, and happy crafting.